Well, today I'm going to take a few moments and I'm going to share with you how do we create a joy-filled and successful life. And in order to do that, I want to share a story about friends of my father, Bill and Betty Hutton. Bill and Betty had just retired. And one of the things about Bill and Betty was they had very different relationships. Bill was a corporate man. He was a creator. And Betty was a housewife. And they had different ideas about how to do things. And one of the things that they really differed on, Betty loved the shop. So she would go to the shopping center and she would browse for hours. Where Bill was a typical type man where he would go in, know what he wanted, he would be out. Well, once they retired, Betty looked at Bill and said, "Bill, you're going to go shopping with me and you're going to learn to like it." Well, Bill had to come to this idea and understand that the relationship had changed, and he made a decision that would be fun. And all of that was wonderful and great until this letter came in the mail. And it was addressed to Mrs. Hutton, and it says this: "Dear Mrs. Hutton, over the past 6 months, your husband has been causing quite a commotion in our store. We can no longer tolerate this type of behavior and may ban both of you from this and all Walmart stores forever. We have documented all incidences on our video equipment. All complaints are listed below." June 15th, Bill set all the alarm clocks in housewares to go off in 5-minute intervals. August 2nd, Bill took over 40 packages of Preparation H and put them into people's carts when they weren't looking. September 18th, while handling guns in the hunting department, he asked the clerk, "Do you know where the antidepressants are?" On November 1st, he hid in the clothing rack, and when people came and looked for the clothing, he yelled, "Pick me, pick me." And finally, the straw that broke the camel's back was on December 23rd. He went into a fitting room, he shut the door, waited a while, then yelled very proudly, "There's no toilet paper in here." You see, Bill had made a decision, and that decision was to be happy. So I want to talk about that because decisions are the key to our happiness. And we don't realize it, but we are consciously and unconsciously making decisions every moment of our lives. And when we allow our unconscious side to make that decision, we live by the law of averages, meaning we will live an average life. But when we decide something, we are putting into place a creative power that can change everything in our lives, everything in experience. The idea of the power of decision now has been known by philosophers. It's been known by spiritualists. It's now known by scientists as they explore quantum physics. And what happens, this is really the key here. When we decide something, we commit to it so that our mind, body, and soul are committed to one intention and one intention only. And when we make that commitment, what we're saying to the universe is very simply this: every thought, every word, every feeling, and every action that I take will be in alignment with that commitment. And you see, that's what Bill did. He decided it was so important that he would be happy with his wife that he decided to imagine, using that great gift that we've got, the imagination, to step outside the box and say, what would it look like if I could be happy with my wife? And he says, I could go to the stores and I can play jokes. And so he thought that and he made the decision. This is what I'm going to do. And when you make a decision, there is no turning back. You see, you cannot try to pick up a pencil. You either pick it up or you don't. So when people say, I've made a decision to lose weight, and they don't, they haven't made the decision. You see, when you decide something, you cut the possibility of anything else happening. So I'll share with you, in 2004, I was at a decision point of continuing my corporate career or going and getting my master's degree and becoming a minister. And I'd wanted to be a minister all of my life. I was born and raised a Catholic. I was in the seminary at 15, living away from home, but that didn't work for me. And I went and I bought into the American dream. And so I had a house here in Dallas that is like my best friend in the world in elementary school, Gregory Schloff. I became a vice president like Gregory Schloff's dad. I had the 2 kids like Gregory Schloff had. I had everything that I had put into imagination, and I wasn't happy. But in 2004, it came to the point where I could continue in my corporate world, or I could go get a master's degree and begin to do what I wanted to do in my heart. And at that point, I said yes. And immediately, my job disappeared. Immediately, I was accepted into ministerial school. And even though I tried to go out into the world and look for another job, I was overqualified for everything. Do you know why? Because I was committed to being a minister. And the universe would never give us anything that wasn't in our heart. I believed at the core of my being that why I was here was to help others find the true path to happiness, which lies within each of us and is the result of us making a conscious decision. So as I look at you, what I see is an infinite possibility. I see that anything that you desire right here, right now, is possible. I don't care what your age is, what your sex is, what your ethnicity is. I don't care about your background. That is totally irrelevant. Because when you make the decision and you put all of your thoughts, all of your words, all of your actions, and all of your feelings into it, you become a creative force that will never be denied. So think about this. The next time you're in a store and you pass by a clothing rack or you walk past a fitting room, do you want to be Bill Fenton? Wouldn't it be great to be him and to be that alive? What I want to say to you as I look at you in the eyes, you have that power, and all you need to do is decide. Thank you.